Hello and good morning all the students. So we are back here again with one more new video. In today's lecture we are going to talk about the factors affecting the SN1 and SN2 reaction, and then we will be talking about the elimination reaction and the addition reaction, right? So today we are going to see the first concept, that is the factors influencing the SN1 and SN2 reaction, right? So give the heading factors influencing SN1 and SN2 reaction, right? So there are different factors which are affecting the SN1 and SN2 reaction. The first factor is nature of substrate. Right? So we all know what is the substrate in the reaction of a SN1 and SN2. There is a one substrate plus one reagent, and they combine to form the product, and plus we have a one leaving group, right? This is what I told you. During the SN1 and SN2 reaction, we have one substrate, one reagent, one product is formed, and one is the leaving group, right? So substrate is nothing but the alkyl halide, and reagent is nothing but the nucleophile, right? So nucleophile is the reagent and substrate is the alkyl halide, right? And the leaving group will be X minus, that will be X minus, that will be the halogen atom, right? And the product will be obtained, that will be a substituted product. This will be a substituted product, right? So here we are talking about the nature of substrate, that means the nature of alkyl halide, right? So the first factor is nature of substrate. Here when we talk about the SN2 reaction, when we take the example of SN2 reaction, SN2 reaction is mostly favored by primary alkyl halides, right? They are not favored by the tertiary alkyl halides. You all need to remember this. Why this happens? Because it shows the pentacoordinate mechanism, right? It shows the pentacoordinate mechanism. Now what is pentacoordinate mechanism? We all have seen that when the primary alkyl halide reacts with the particular base, it will get converted into a transition state, right? And this particular transition state, this carbon is forming the 5 bonds, right? One more extra bond is formed, and that condition is nothing but called as the transition state, and that particular transition state is nothing but a pentacoordinate mechanism, right? And that is why SN2 will mostly favored by the primary alkyl halides and not by the tertiary alkyl halides, right? But when we talk about the particular SN1 reaction is shown by the tertiary alkyl halides. It is mostly favored by the tertiary alkyl halides. You all need to remember this, right? So what was the example taken in this case? CH3, and Br, right? This is a tertiary butyl bromide. This was the reactant or the substrate in the case of SN1. SN2 के केस में क्या था? Methyl bromide, CH3Br. This was the substrate in the case of SN2 reaction. This is primary alkyl halide. This is the tertiary alkyl halide, right? So in the SN1 reaction is mostly favored by the tertiary alkyl halide, not by the primary alkyl halide. So you all need to remember this. Now why this happens? Only tertiary butyl bromide? Because in this case it contains the planar structure. See, this is the planar structure, right? the structure which is obtained in the particular SN1 reaction for the tertiary alkyl halide is a planar structure. So that is why it is mostly favored by the particular tertiary alkyl halide only, right? Now what happens when the structure is planar? Due to the planar configuration, there will be a less steric hindrance. There will be a less steric hindrance by CH3 groups. Right? So there is absolutely no steric hindrance. See, the OH minus can attack from this side, the OH minus can also attack from this side. We have seen that the two racemic mixture is obtained in the case of SN1 reaction, right? Where the OH minus nucleophile can attack from the back side as well as it can attack from the left side, or we can say from the front side. So both the attack of the nucleophile is possible. That is due to the planar configuration and due to the less steric hindrance by the CH3 group, and also due to inductive effect, and also due to hyperconjugation of alkyl substituents, right? So these are the factors, right? What are the factors? Due to a planar configuration, it will have a less steric hindrance by the methyl groups, and then due to a inductive effect and due to a hyperconjugation of the alkyl substituents, right? So I hope that you have understood the first factor, that is the nature of. Okay, now let's quickly talk about the second factor. The second factor is nucleophilicity of the reagent. That means, in short, we can say the role of nucleophile. See, the role of a nucleophile in both the reaction is totally different. See, in a SN1 reaction, a weak nucleophile favors the SN1 reaction, right? And a strong nucleophile will favor SN2 reaction, right? Now, why the nucleophile is a weak in SN1 and why the nucleophile is a strong in SN2? Okay, now let's quickly look at this. Okay, what is the SN1 substrate or the reactant? In the SN1, the substrate is CH3 and CH3, right? And this is Br, right? This is the tertiary butyl bromide. Okay, I'll show it properly. So what happens here? We have taken the tertiary butyl bromide, right? Now in this particular tertiary butyl bromide, we know that the nucleophile does not attack in the first step. There is no role of a nucleophile in the first step, right? That means OH minus will not attack in the first step. OH minus will attack in the second step. The role of the nucleophile is only in the second step, right? How? Let's see the reaction. See what happens in the first step. The CBr bond is broken. Carbon and bromine bond is broken, and it will get converted into a carbocation. See, this is the carbocation, CH3 and CH3, a carbon containing a positive charge, right? Plus Br minus. So abhi pehla step ho gaya. This is the first step where there is a conversion of the carbocation, and this is called as the carbocation intermediate, right? So in this case, what happens now? The role of the nucleophile comes in the second step. See, the nucleophile can attack from either front side or the nucleophile can attack from the back side, right? So both the attack is possible, and we'll get the final product as the CH3, C, CH3, CH3 and OH. This is nothing but the tertiary butyl alcohol, right? Are you understanding the nucleophilicity of the reagent? That means the role of the nucleophile. Okay, now let's see the case of a SN2 reaction. Why the nucleophile is strong in the SN2 reaction? See what happens in the SN2 reaction. This is CH3 and Br, right? I will draw this hydrogen little bit like this. See, this is the hydrogen CH3 and Br. This becomes the methyl bromide. Methyl bromide. You all know that the SN2 reaction is a single step reaction where there is a simultaneous making and breaking of the bond is going on. That means this OH minus nucleophile will simultaneously form the bond with the carbon, and this will slowly start breaking, right? So making and breaking of the bond is going on simultaneously, and it is forming a transition state that is called as the pentacoordinate state or pentacoordinate mechanism, right? So here in this case the OH minus is attacking to the particular alkyl halide in the step number 1 only. That is why we say that the nucleophile in the case of SN2 is a very strong nucleophile, right? And that is why we can say that in this particular reaction of a SN2, the rate of reaction depends upon both the factors, that is the OH minus as well as the CH3Br. But in the SN1 what happens? The rate of reaction depends only on the reactant, only on the one reactant, that is the CH3 3 times Br, that is the tertiary butyl bromide, right? So my dear students, I hope that you have understood this particular concept of nucleophilicity of the reagent. Okay, now let's quickly see the third concept. Third is the solvent polarity. Solvent polarity. Okay, now what is the case of a solvent polarity? As I told you that there are two kinds of solvents are used, that is the polar solvent and the non-polar solvent. So in both the cases of SN1 and SN2 we are using the polar solvent only, but in the case of a SN1 we use a polar protic solvent. Polar protic solvent. But in the case of a SN2 we use a polar aprotic solvent. Polar aprotic solvent, right? So what is polar protic? Polar protic means what? It gives a H plus ions. What is polar aprotic? Which does not give the H plus ions. Does not give the H plus ions, right? They are called as the aprotic solvent, right? So you have to remember the nature of the solvent also is very important, and one of the factor that is influencing the SN1 and SN2. So SN1 favors the polar protic solvent and SN2 favors the polar aprotic solvent, right? And in SN1 reaction a carbocation intermediate is formed. Intermediate is formed, and in this case transition state is formed, right? So you all need to remember that in SN1 carbocation intermediate is formed, and in SN2 transition state is formed. So these are the three most important factors that are affecting the particular SN1 and SN2 reaction. So what are these factors? Factor number 1, nature of substrate. Factor number 2, nucleophilicity of the reagent. And factor number 3, solvent polarity. So I hope, my dear students, that you all have understood this particular concept. Thank you very much.